Hi, welcome to Tech AI Solution Podcast today, guys. We today have a guest, Jaci Finman. She's a parent coach, author, and host of the No Problem Parenting podcast. So, welcome, Jaci, on the podcast. Tell us about yourself and what you do.
Hey, thanks for having me today. This is so fun. I am a 30 plus year parenting coach. I was a family counselor for 20 of those years and a program coordinator. We did in-home family counseling. So that means that in Minnesota, where I'm located, I was driving to families' homes to help counsel their kids right directly in the family's home, a lot of rural areas. Places where people didn't have the resources like in the bigger cities. So I did that for 20 years. Worked a lot of child protection cases. So families who are at risk of losing their children due to abuse or neglect. I eventually started opening up early childhood mental health programs within like Head Start programs so that parents who were kind of afraid of the system, afraid to work with anybody, they would come to the center, meet with us there, build some trust with us, and then they would invite us into their home to be able to help them, with the challenges they were having with their kids. Eventually, the system really changed, the insurance system, the way we build for families. And so I couldn't see parents without the child present.
Mhm.
And that was for probably the last 10 years of my counseling career. And that just didn't sit well with me because I thought, if a child's really struggling or a parent's really frustrated with their child, and I'm trying to coach the parent on what to do different, but the kid is right there in the room, the child's hearing the parent's frustrations. I didn't think that was necessary. Or I'm coaching the parent and the child's thinking, man, I must be really screwed up if my parent doesn't even know how to take care of me. Or if a child was really savvy and, used to getting their way, I would leave, the parent would try a technique and the kid might say, well, that's not how Jackie said to do it. And so there was this power differential. There was like the parent couldn't actually be the leader of their home. So you can hear all about it on the No Problem Parenting podcast, episode 32, how it really took a lot of signs from God, I say for me, that he was putting in my path that got me to the point where I had the confidence to leave that 20-year career and start my own company so that I could help parents become the confident leaders I say our kids crave us to be. So it was really these signs that were kind of put in my path that I finally paid attention to. But ultimately, it was my 8-year-old son at the time. He's now 20. But it was, it's out of the mouths of babes, right? Like he's the one that was like, of course, mom, it is God telling you to do this. Like this is something you're supposed to do. And you'll hear all about that in episode 32, which makes most people go, you've got to be kidding me. That really happened. It did. So I'll leave you a little teaser there. But I did finally get the courage, talk to my husband. He said, hey, if you can figure it out, go for it. And I've just since November of 2013, I've been figuring it out. And I started Hello World LLC. So that I could help coach parents. A couple years into that, I decided I was driving too much. It was expensive for parents for me to come to their home. So I decided to go virtual, and I started with WebEx back in those days. It was like 2016, I think. There was Zoom probably, but I didn't know about it. And I started doing virtual calls with families. And after a couple of years of that, I noticed some common themes, some things I was saying to any family, whether their child had a diagnosis of, mental health or not. And so then in 2018, I went back and I listened to my recordings of my meetings with parents, and I pulled out 3 common themes. And then that's how No Problem Parenting was born. And we launched that in 2019.
Yeah, that's a wonderful story. You have experience in that field now. You are using that experience and implementing for your own business and helping out the parents and down the line as well. I think that's a wonderful job that you are doing, and that's a very brief discussion of how you are moving from before working now business owner of the same thing that you are expertise in. So definitely that's helped us our audience to listen how this flow goes, because in any future if people wants to switch this their career, and this I think this podcast will help them, the episode 32 and 33, to switch them and go for their dream, I would say. And that's all
Yeah.
that. So how
Yeah.
does your like how do parents came to you? Like, does they come through the school program, or they come through the referral? How does this go?
Yeah, so because of my 20 years of experience working by the time I left the agency, I had been doing a lot of program coordination. So I was driving to 32 different counties in the state of Minnesota, driving 3,000 to 5,000 miles a month. So I had built some really good relationships with county social services.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was getting referrals from them.
Mm-hmm.
Also with schools would make referrals. But my work is all private pay. I don't bill insurance. I don't do anything clinical anymore. I really do parent education and
Mm-hmm.
support. And so word of mouth to this day,
Yeah.
despite all the social media and all of that,
Yeah.
word of mouth is really the way I get most of my families. I see about 50 families a year one-on-one, and then I see another few hundred just doing trainings or several
Mm-hmm.
hundred, I should say, in
Yeah.
online trainings. And so again, it's word of mouth that people are coming to me. But I do have a goal of building an app and making No Problem Parenting or No Problem Parents a household name, and really getting to as many families as I can without having to do the one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you don't need a one-on-one coach or a therapist. Sometimes you just need somebody that's going to give you permission or advocate for you, or
Yeah.
just acknowledge the work that you're already doing in your own home, or help you prevent some of the, typical things that happen when we raise kids. The behaviors, there's going to be behaviors, right?
Yeah.
And so sometimes we can kind of prepare or get ahead of the game and
Yeah.
prepare for the problems before they even happen. And that's what I would love to help parents do, rather than coming in after things are already really tough. Let's get in there ahead of time so we can prevent some of those frustrations that parents go through.
Oh, that's a good job that you are doing. So if we talk about the industry, like in your conversation, you already told like you started in 2013 when you going to the driving around and going to the different houses for that. Now, and you have seen that shift quite. You have a quite a lot of experience in this industry. You may have seen a lot of shifts, and from going around in the houses now virtually you done for different people. So I think going virtually has one benefit of it. We can go globally, not even
Mhm.
the US. You can go globally for that. That's a one benefit out of it. What else do you think this industry has been shifting towards today? How this industry has been shifted?
Well, I think that in some ways there's almost TMI, right? Too much information with
Yeah.
social media. There's so many things that you can try, so many different parenting techniques and resources and things that you can try, and it almost gets to be overwhelming because you don't really know which one you should be doing or not doing or whatever. Virtual meetings for me were, I mean, it was like voodoo in 2016 when I started doing virtual visits. It was really only after the pandemic that people normalized, having meetings on Zoom. But the reason I started that back in 2016 is because it wasn't just about me having to drive to the family's home and the expense of them having to pay my mileage. It was also that if it was a two-parent home,
Mhm.
parents could meet, dad could meet when he's at his job, mom could meet when she's at her job, or they could meet, in the evenings. As I used to do evening work. I don't so much anymore because I'd be working 15 hours a day if I did that. But it was so much easier. Or if one parent couldn't join a meeting, I could record it and share it. Or I shared the script sometimes, the summaries and stuff with the other parent. So it just made it a lot easier. You didn't have to pay for daycare to go to a meeting. You didn't have to take time off of work. You could do it on your lunch hour. Or stay a little bit later after work or something and log in without the kids being around or being present. So that was really good. But what I've noticed a lot is just almost an overwhelming amount of information. So it's like the pendulum has swung. We used to not be able to get certain services because they weren't in our area. Now the world is open, the services are open. Many people are offering resources virtually, but then now it's almost like, which ones do I do? What do I take? What do I try? What, and so I think the pendulum needs to kind of level out a little bit. And that's where I help parents. I'm a mindset shift for parents, as well as, about what our role is as a parent. And also, I'm there to help you kind of weed through all the resources and get to the root of what is the best for your family.
Nice. I think as you mentioned that coming this on social media, everybody is consultant online. So everybody is providing their views. Oh, no matter what their expertise in that, they know what, no matter what, everybody is like consultant in this world. I think the way the people are perceiving this consultancy is different what it used to be, I think, way 10 years ago. Yeah, right. So how the change in the perspective is affecting your business? Like there might be some consultants who are not authorized or who are not licensed for these kind of stuff, but they are now a consultant. So how these kind of, this is one of the industry shift I think this industry has seen so far. So how this is impacting you?
I love to play with others in the sandbox. There's a ton of competition out there, way more now than like even in 2016 when I started virtual coaching. I mean, Sartaj, like when I first started, I didn't even really know what a parent coach was.
Okay.
I was in the counseling mental health field, right? So I just knew what I was good at, and that was helping parents in their everyday challenges inside their home, like the real life stuff outside of the therapy office or outside of the school. And so I just knew I had something to offer and it had value, and I had all this experience. And so I just needed to find a way to make that useful and make that work. And that's exactly what I did. So, you do need to do your research. I would say there are many people that are knowledgeable, and some of those people that are knowledgeable don't have a license. I don't have a license because I don't need one because I'm not clinical. But I have, because I'm providing education, but some people might not work with me because I don't have the certain certification or the license. And that is more than fine. In fact, sometimes people come to me and I say, hey, this issue needs more of a mental health focus. That's not me. So I'm going to refer you out to that person first. Or you work in tandem with me. But yeah, you do need to make sure you're researching who you're taking your education and advice and support from, rather than just anybody. But I will say that despite all of that, I mean, while all that's true, you also, as long as you're getting something from it and it's serving you and not causing harm, go for it. It's not everything needs therapy. Not everything is a mental health issue. Sometimes it's a change in the way you're thinking that the real progress and success can happen. So yeah, I don't know if I answered that the best.
Exactly. This is what I was looking for. And that's a good advice for people who will be listening to this podcast, because this is a good advice. Like, go for it if you are feeling for it. So,
yeah. Well, and I will also say, I don't know if I can put this as probably a shameless plug here for one of my favorite people, Dr. JJ Kelly. She does DBT therapy, and she has virtual, she can do DBT therapy, which might normally take 2 years, in about 8 weeks. And one of the things that she brought to my attention several years ago, and she's been in both of my books, my compilation books, she'll say, there's thoughts and feelings. And so often in today's age, we put everything into a feeling. And not everything is a feeling. Sometimes it's a thought. I call it stinking thinking sometimes. So yeah, so not everything requires therapy. Sometimes it just requires a mindset shift and a different way of thinking versus feeling. So yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So now let's talk about your business. So if I have to talk about your business, like there are some things business are struggling with, there are something they want to improve on. For your case, which is one thing that is working perfectly well, and which is one thing that is being frustration for you?
So the thing that works perfectly well is the virtual sessions for
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Being able to, it was a really good idea for me when I was able to go back and like number one, record my meetings so I could go back and find the golden nuggets of the things
Mhm.
that were working for any family that I was helping, and to be able to put that into a training or course. So being able to give that to families saves them time and money because they kind of get the overview, the big picture of what I'm going to coach them on. So that works really well. The minute somebody registers or signs up to do one-on-one coaching with me, they get that training automatically. So they don't have to wait weeks to get in with me. They can get some good tips and tools right away off the bat. So that's working really well. And getting the referrals, I mean, that works really well. What is the hardest part for me is a lot of times families don't want to stop working with me.
Mhm.
Because they want to keep practicing, or they just need that, whether it's every other week or once a month, they need that person in their corner. So the thing that I am working towards with developing an app and more supports, ongoing supports with people,
Mhm.
that's where I've kind of been stuck. It's like there's times I just don't want to stop meeting with families
Yeah.
because they're making such progress, but as our kids grow, they're going to have more challenges. And so the being a one woman show, the hardest part is having the time to do all the things I want to do.
That's
To get the resources to parents and the support that I think parents deserve. It's the hardest job anybody can have is being a parent.
Yeah, that's so true. But I'm not parent yet. But that might be true. Seeing my parents, they how they support me.
Yeah, just
So
make sure you give them a call and thank them.
yeah, sure, sure. Why not?
I'm
So
sure they're proud of you.
yeah, they are. So and if we talk about are you measuring any metrics in your business, like how many people are coming to you, how many are being solved out of it, they are getting a positive attitude towards the therapy, and how much people being referred to you and ultimately getting paying you as for their service. So do you metric like do you measure that metric? Do you have that metric in hand, like which one is so my question is which metric you are currently focusing on improving?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Yeah, I think one of my favorite metrics is that I have 95% success rate getting dads on board.
So,
um, which is a big deal. And it's not because dads don't always want to. It's just stereotypically, and that's changing actually. I would say I have 20 to 30% of my families that I work with, the dads are staying home and the mom is out working the full-time job and providing benefits and all of that.
mhm,
But sometimes, mostly in my 13 years, I can speak for the last 13 years, it's been moms that reach out to me. And then a lot of times the dads will say, no, it's mom that's having the issues. I'm fine. I'm fine. And I try to get dads on the first call, if not the second or third.
mhm.
And most of the time, 95% of the time, the dad will end up wanting to continue and will make each of those meetings and those sessions. So that's awesome. And I think a big part of that is they're finding that it's working. They're
Yeah,
seeing it. They're realizing that I understand what they're going through too. This isn't just a mom issue or a stay-at-home parent issue or a parent who's managing the household issue, because there's usually a primary parent that handles all the organization, the scheduling, the groceries, the getting the kids to all their things. And then there's another parent that's there supporting that parent, but not doing as much. And so I would say it's the primary parent reaching out, but 95% of the time I get dads on board as well. But as far as how many clients, like I said, I see about 50. I would love to be in thousands of homes every month rather than, you know,
that's a
uh,
good given. Yeah.
15 to 25 to, well, right now it's 37. I have
It's
37 families at one time, and that's the most I've ever done, which
mhm.
just tells me how high the need is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more than what you are like you need a customer. It's more than parents need you. So there are
Mhm.
the high demand on the other side, and you haven't explored that path yet. So you are being
No, there's I'm telling you, I have so much content and so many things to get out. And that's another thing I would say that's a tough part of what I'm doing now is the time to get, like, some families, I forget about a technique that might help them
yeah.
because, I have so many of them that I don't want to bombard them with everything at once.
Mhm.
But I would love to have a place where they could go access all of that stuff eventually. So again, that's why the vision of the app is my next
That's
big
good.
project. Yeah, needing the time to be able to do that. And it's not just about time, but it's about the who, not how, like who can help me with that. And again, that's why I'm glad I'm being introduced to you guys, because it sounds like that's something that eventually you can help me with as well.
Yeah, sure. We're glad to hear that. And my last question is about your future prospect. Where do you see this business in 6 to 12 months?
I see me having access to, no, I was going to say like making it a household name. 6 months, 3 to 6 months, did you say?
Yeah, or 6 to 12. Sorry.
Oh, 6 to 12 months, my app is going to get developed.
Oh, nice.
And then we are going to get that into as many parents' hands as possible. And I'm going to do that. My goal is to do that in a way that it is affordable for everyone. I work with
Yeah.
families who are in poverty level. I work with families who have private planes.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that in all my 30 plus years of experience,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of commonalities, whether
Yeah.
you're in poverty or you're, flying your own private plane.
Yeah.
The parenting struggles can be very similar and are very similar a lot of the time. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to reach the masses and, and be able to let parents know they don't have to do this alone. They're doing a good job, even when it doesn't feel like it. We don't know what we don't know. And my 3-step process really, really helps parents to breathe better and to
Yeah.
calm down just a little bit. Ooh, I said calm. I don't even like the word calm because it's not even realistic in parenting a lot of the time. But yeah, seek first to understand, prepare for the worst, and change the conversation. Those are my 3 steps. And when you can master those 3 steps, and even just when you first initiate those 3 steps, you've already become the confident leader that your kids crave you to be. You'll see changes in the first just after noticing the first step or implementing the first step. It's not rocket science,
Yeah.
and it works. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jackie. I think you have clearly explained what your vision is and what exactly your service is, and I definitely find the people will find this helpful for their business as well. So thank you, Jackie, for on this podcast today.
Thank you so much, Sartaj.
Thank you, audience, as well. If you like this podcast, please do share and subscribe.